afternoon and welcome to the latest issue of Print21, the weekly video news bulletin for the Australia and New Zealand print industry. This issue is sponsored by Ball & Doggett, Australia's largest supplier of printable materials and of pressroom consumables, and now supplying wide format equipment. Print share of the out-of-home sector has slipped to just 32% for the first half of the year, a full 10% below the share for this time last year. In cash terms, the amount spent on outdoor print in the sector in the first half of the year was $173 million. That's down by $27 million on the same period last year, when print spend was $200 million. Overall, the out-of-home sector achieved half-year net media revenue of $543 million, up 12% on the same period last year. Digital out-of-home revenue now accounts for 68% of total net media revenue in the half year to date, an increase over the recorded 58.7% for the same period last year. Overall, the out-of-home sector achieved half-year net media revenue of $543 million, up 12% on the same period in 2022. Digital out-of-home revenue now accounts for 68% of the total spend, and that's an increase over the recorded 58.7% for the same period last year. Roadside billboards is the biggest sector of the outdoor media. That was up slightly this half year. Street furniture, bus, tram externals and small format roadside, that increased by 17 million. That would include the controversial new QMS digital street furniture in Sydney. That's raised the ire of residents and commuters and workers with its in-your-face positioning. Transport, which includes airports, no surprise there, that's bouncing right back from its smashing COVID. That rose by 55%. Retail, lifestyle and other hit $120 million, up from $114 million. The stagnating outdoor figures for print haven't stopped print businesses from investing. Cactus Imaging, for instance, that's owned by Media, of course. That's just installed 2 new 5-meter printers, including the first Fujifilm Acuity Ultra R2 in the country, as well as the Durst P5 350. Other outdoor print businesses are broadening their base, particularly to the high-value retail display sector, OmniGraphics being one, as shops invest strongly in the customer experience as a tactic to counter the rise of online shopping. Marketing services group IVE, the country's biggest print operation, is on its way to becoming a billion-dollar business. Its full-year results, they all rose. Revenue expected to increase again in the current financial year. Full-year revenue for 2023 financial year was up 27.5% on the previous year. EBITDA up 23%. Net profit after tax up 19.8%. Underlying EBITDA growth, excluding the Ovato contribution, was up 11.8%. This year, last year, 2023 financial year, is the first since its acquisition of stricken rival Ovato, and the Ovato revenue contributed $136 million of the $967 achieved by IVE. Also, the first full year since Active Display and AFI figures, businesses were acquired, they contributed $25 million between them. IVE is taking 3 of the Manroll and Heatset webs from Ovato, and it will replace 3 of its older machines, with 1 press each going into Sunshine, Huntingwood and Silverwater. The Ovato integration is actually tracking ahead of schedule and will be completed in March. IVE is committed to entering the packaging market now and is zeroing in on the higher margin, shorter run folding carton segment and the flexible packaging segment as well. It says, due to the similarities with many of the group's existing businesses and its aligned ESG credentials, the $700 million a year fibre-based folding cartons market is its initial and primary area of focus. Its analysis indicates that the folding carton market, which makes up a large percentage of the preferred food packaging for large food and beverage customers, that's a fast-growing market, and it will provide sustainable returns, says IVE, and solid growth prospects for mid-tier players. IVE says it will be in the current year that it will identify and execute an appropriate packaging acquisition. PVCA and Fundraising Institute Australia have successfully negotiated a 10% discount on charity mail with Australia Post. Auspost will provide the postage rebate of 10% on any incremental charity mail activity undertaken from 1st of October to 31st of December this year. That's compared with the same period last year. Printers around the country have contributed to a $5,000 crowd fund which will bring a historic Heidelberg press, dubbed the press that defied Hitler, from regional New South Wales to the Penrith Museum of Print. The 1939 Heidelberg Zylinder Automan had been used to print the, latterly had been used probably for the last 50 years to print the Don Dorigo Gazette, before the publisher Michael English had to close operations last month. The 5-ton press, that will now be decommissioned, moved from Dorigo to Penrith, where it will be rebuilt and restored by the band of ex-printers who run the museum. That's it for this week's issue of Play Print21. Go to print21.com.au for all these stories in depth and more. Thanks to our sponsor Ball & Doggett. This is Wayne Robinson signing off for another issue of Play Print21.